I already have my thoughts on the game, and I mean I'm not happy with that Warthunder has become since early 2022. I have several things to say, starting mostly with Ground RB. Ground RB is the most famous mode we have in the game, followed by Air RB and Simulation Battles. And honestly, the matchmaking system still broken from the first time I played this mode. I'll put an example. You have multiple tanks of rank 8.0 and hopes to play with tanks from rank 8.0 to 8.7, but ends up fighting yourself at 9.7 matches. Yes, a up tier. Something I'm not happy to say, I'm really disappointed in reality. It's not fair to use a M48G that has no stabilizer and can only fight contemporary MBTs like the T55 and put it to fight against semi-modern MBTs like the T72 or T64 that have access to better laser rangefinder and APF SDS capable of cutting it in half. Several people have been complaining about the BR decompression since new updates arrived, but the only thing that Gaijin did was just change the BR of some tanks like the 76 Jumbo. I remember a time when he was 5.7. Now he's at BR 6.3 because of being an impenetrable tank facing most of 5.0 and 5.7 tanks. Grading vehicles is something that Gaijin invests for players. Each vehicle has its performance improved when you buy new upgrades for it. For example, when you unlock parts in FPE, you can repair your vehicle and extinguish a fire. In my opinion, they could put parts as an upgrade already installed on the stock vehicle, and of course the FPE could be replenished on captured bases. Honestly speaking, vehicles from BR 9.0 to 11.3 shouldn't have heat effects as their only ammunition when stock. An example is the T72B. It has three types of APF SDS, 3BM6, 22 and 42. You could just put 3BM6, the worst among those three, to be its primary ammo along with the HFS one. Tanks from BR 7.0 to 8.7 receive APDS as their primary ammo, so remove the APF SDS from these modern stock MBTs to being replaced by HFS is something that makes grinding stressful. This happened to me once I was playing with the Leopard 2PL stock. I tried to hit the back turret of a challenging 2F and the ERA blew the HFS up. In conclusion, this function only makes players feel more angry at Gaijin and angry at players who have spaded vehicles. Talking about vehicles, I'll talk about premium vehicles and event vehicles. Of course, premium vehicles have research and reward bonuses that speed up your grind and increase your silver lions. But it's not just up to you on a battlefield. When the T72AV terms was added to the game, several players bought it without a second opinion, giving it a bad reputation due to the players being called tank for noobs. Just for being one of the best premium tanks in the game, but most of the players are rank 1 or 3 players. Several times when I enter a match with the Russian nation at 9.7, 95% of the players are using the T72AV, and unfortunately, when they are killed, they instantly leave the combat. The famous one spawn player. Event vehicles are conquered in construction or limited events, or even conquered in World War mode. I'll talk a little about. Battle Pass vehicles can be considered event vehicles, but they have bonuses features of a premium one. Some are modifications that are derived from production vehicles like the PT-7657. This version of the PT-76 came between 2007 and 2009. Or experimental vehicles like the M6A2E1, a heavier version of the M6A1 heavy tank. Event vehicles can range from real-life used vehicles like the M60 AMBT, a Turkish upgrade for the M60 MBT, and prototype vehicles like the Object 279, created by the USSR to move in places that suffered radiation damages. I mean, some vehicles have been added that are easy to find and use, but some vehicles are honestly unfair to fight with and against them. Some examples are the PT-7657 itself, BDM-4, PT-16T14 and AGS. I remember playing with the T-72 terms against the AGS on Fields of Poland map. I could barely see his turret because he was an absurd high ground. When I least expected it, I went flanked by 3 AGS who were advancing non-stop. Of course, some enthusiasts said it was the right choice, but for me, a normal player of the game, it's something unacceptable. Basically, when the event ended, I always got in matches with people who had AGS. And when I talk about these people, they are almost all from the enemy team. And inequality does not only in combat but in an economic and dynamic way in the game. For example, computer players can download sound mods, custom sites and camouflage made by users. This is not the same for console players like me. I'm an Xbox player. They need to have golden eagles to be able to open a chest containing camouflage and premium vehicles. And it can only depend on your luck to get what you want. Basically, console players suffer more than Germany does. I had to buy a keyboard and a mouse just to have a better reflexes in air battles. In ground RB, things are lighter compared to simulation battles. How? Simple. In simulator battles, you have 1000 SP, and basically 650 or 700 spawn points are for helis or just with long-range equipment. Talking about SB, recently Gaijin added a new matchmaking system to his mode, which ended today. And clearly it's a good thing for this mode. Before, you only had 2 fixed ranks for 24 hours, one for 1.0 to 7.0 vehicles and another for 7.3 to 11.3 vehicles. The new system brings the same matchmaking system of arcade and realistic battles. It only has, however, 3 spawns per game. Some vehicles in Warthunder could have been added a long time ago. Some I saw asking for the Schützenpanzer Puma, a sort of a better M3 Bradley, but my thoughts go a little further than that in reality. Looking at the Russian tank destroyer line, we have the Chrysanthemum S on 9.3, for the US the M91 ITV on 8.0, and on Germany we have the Raketenjagdpanzer II Hot on 8.0. Could it be fair to add new vehicles to 9.0 to 9.3 to fight other vehicles for both US and Germany? Have you ever heard of the Jaguar 1A3? If not, I will explain. It's basically a Rackjack Panzer II with better performance, same weapons but with thermal visors. This could be an interesting and unexpected if Gaijin added it with the new vehicles. And we don't forget about the American LAVs and their variants LAV-25 and LAV-700. In more striker variants, for example, the Striker M Shorad, a SAM version, and the Strike MCWS, containing a 30mm cannons. Well, I think that's all I have to say about the game, how it is, what I can expect in the future, and maybe what everyone can expect from the company itself. That's all for today, and have a great day or night. See you in another video.